Hey, I actually just did a take of this with the mic muted, so I'm going to keep things quick. But this is basically how it's going to be a video about how I run a channel on a low income. I live on a fixed income. I have a variable income from you guys, Patreon, and the ad revenue. But the majority of my money, the money I actually use to survive, comes from disability due to my mental health disorder and stuff. So I'm going to go over the ways that I run this site on basically nothing. Now, the first one is the Game Deals Reddit. Now, this one is predominantly for PC. You're going to want to subscribe to the console-specific ones if you're predominantly a console gamer. But if you're a PC gamer, this is definitely one of the best places to go because you can find like the cheapest price for pretty much every game here if you look often enough. A lot of the resellers, the key resellers like Green Man Gaming and Games Planet, Fanatical, Chrono GG, all of them have reps that post on here, so the deals will be posted pretty much as soon as they're available. And a lot of people will also mention when a game is a historical low. Historical low means that the game is the cheapest it's ever been. Now, depending on the kind of game it is, that may be common, that may not be common. Like the Bayonetta giveaway that I did, that game is like $10 every month, so it's not really a big deal. But at the same time, it can be good to kind of monitor the prices this way. Now, there's also Nintendo Switch deals. I'm sure you noticed Nintendo games are taxed like crazy, and they cost a lot, and the eShop has pretty crappy deals most of the time. So you want to get physical games as much as possible because the physical games are usually a lot cheaper. Like I got Gunvolt for $30, I got Fire Emblem Warriors for about $45 after tax, and then Rayman Legends was $20 as well. All of those games are way more expensive on the eShop, so I definitely recommend going here. These people post about pretty much everything encompassing Switch deals in general. Anything from games like the eShop cards, accessories like charging stations and screen protectors, a lot of things like that. So I check this site pretty regularly. Like here's one, Fire Emblem Muso is $46 at Walmart, so that's about $15 off when you consider tax and everything for a physical copy. Now there's also one called PS4 Deals, which is the same kind of thing. So if you're a PS4 gamer, you can go here as well. Sometimes they'll have really good deals, like externally. A lot of times, at least for the consoles, like the best prices are not going to be on the actual stores themselves. A lot of times they'll be physical, and it's happening a lot more now. It's happening the most with the Switch. Like Switch games are ridiculous priced on the eShop, but a lot of times you can get them for a lot cheaper. Sometimes as much as like half price. So you definitely want to use these resources. Also, there's Wario64 on Twitter. He posts pretty much every deal imaginable. He will even find like price errors for accessories and games and stuff that only last for like an hour or two. I don't know how he does it, but you should definitely go here as much as possible. It's also Cheap Ass Gamer, which helps. Like here's Coda Princess EX. Remember I refunded that game because I didn't like it. Apparently they're making another version of it, like a remaster or something that's supposed to have better gameplay. So I might actually get this, and since it's physical, you can trade in these games. That's another benefit of going on the Switch Deals Reddit, is that since they're physical games, you can trade them in, and a lot of times you can even make a lot of your money back, even if you completely finish the game, because the trade values are going to be pretty high because the games are not on sale that often. So right now it's telling you this game is $32 with Prime, which I do have Amazon Prime, so I probably will do that once I get a little closer to announcing a release date. Also, there's Keymailer. Keymailer is a great resource for getting indie games. If you want bigger games, it's probably not the best resource overall. You're going to get a lot of junk thrown at you, a lot of stuff that you would never be caught dead playing. I got someone sending me a literal game about poop or crap. I don't know what they did, but apparently a lot of people got requests for that without asking. So you're going to get a lot of spam, a lot of games you wouldn't bother playing. But depending on if the developer or publisher is actually active on here, you do have a pretty high chance of getting what you want, like the Dusty Raging Fist key. I actually got that by request of the developer. He told me to go on here and file a request for the game, so I went and did that, and he activated it manually. However, there are a lot of games on Keymailer that the publisher or the developer doesn't even have any control over it being added. So sometimes you're sending a request to somebody who's not even paying attention, who doesn't even know about the site, or chooses to not interact with the site. So don't get your feelings hurt. You know, if you send a key or request a key for something and you don't get like a reply, like sometimes that developer or publisher just doesn't even interact or use this site at all. However, most indie developers are using this site really often now because it helps to get the word out, especially if you're a smaller size channel like mine. You know, if you only have a couple thousand subscribers, a lot of times they'll give you a key, no questions asked, because they know that they'll probably sell at least a few from it, and you know, the digital keys don't cost them anything to make. So there's a bunch of categories here. Like, you know, I mostly play action games, so here's a lot of the action games that are being released right now. You can also sort by platform, but the consoles have like far less selection than PC. So this is mostly for if you're a PC gamer. If you're a console gamer, it's probably far better to just go contact the developer or publisher directly and link them to their channel. You know, show them some of your credentials or some of your work, and you know, you can get a key pretty easily. Like I got East 8. I've gotten a lot of the games I've covered in the past few months have actually been from Keymailer or contacted people on Twitter. So making a Twitter account is actually a pretty good resource as well, but obviously your mileage is going to vary depending on your size of the channel and you know, whatever the publisher or developer is looking for. But if it's an indie game, you have a pretty high chance. So sometimes there's not that much of information on here. A lot of times you'll have to you know, go to the site manually or find them on Twitter or something. But sometimes, depending on the game, you can get a pretty good idea of what the game is going to offer. And you can just request a key, and that's pretty much it. Now finally, there's GameStop. A lot of people show a lot of disdain for GameStop right now, which I can understand, but at the same time, especially if you're a Switch gamer or a Switch owner, you definitely want to be on here as much as possible because they have a lot of crazy deals like Gunvolt. I talked about this you know, earlier this week. This was on sale for $20. On the eShop, it's $40, so it's pretty much half price. So even after tax, you're still going to be saving about $18. So I definitely recommend going on here every Tuesday. The deals refresh, and they usually last until I think Sunday at closing. So you have about a week from when they're announced to go in and get them. And you can also use pickup at store. A lot of these niche games like Gunvolt, you know, they didn't have high print runs, so you're not going to be able to get them online. But getting them offline is going to be a better deal anyway, since you won't have to pay for shipping and you'll get them instantly. See, like right now, there's no copies of Gunvolt within a 50-mile radius, so it's actually really good that I bought it when it was $30. So if it's a niche game like this and it's on sale from GameStop, I definitely recommend biting on it as soon as possible because they don't make a lot of copies of this game. That's why I got Wild Guns Reloaded, because I know even though I have that game on PS4 and I haven't played it a lot, it's actually a really good deal to have it for $30, especially since it's not going to be available physically for very long, if at all. So that's a little kind of condensed or abridged version of what I just talked about in the last video, but I had my mic muted stupidly, so I had to redo it. But that's pretty much how I run this channel on a shoestring budget. I have a very low fixed income, and I have a little bit of money I make from you guys in the ad revenue, which usually amounts to about $110 to $130 a month. So I don't have a lot to work with, but thanks to all these sites and resources, I'm actually able to keep this channel running with new stuff regularly. You know, even I tried to do about one new game a month. Sometimes I'll do 2 or 3, but a lot of times it's heavily influenced by whatever is on sale or whatever I get from Keymailer. So definitely make use of all these resources, and you'll be able to build a pretty big library of new games pretty quickly, depending on what you're into. If you're only into AAA games, then the only thing that's really going to matter for you, or it's going to help for you, is using the Reddit sites that I just mentioned. Those will help you to get those games at a rock bottom price. But if you're into indie and niche games and digital games and stuff like that, you should definitely have a Twitter account, subscribe to or follow the accounts that I mentioned, and also talk to the publishers and developers directly. That vastly increases your chances of getting a key, especially since you know, you're talking to an actual person instead of Keymailer, which sometimes is just an algorithm, or you know, the developers or publishers don't use the site at all, and you're pretty much sending a request to nothing. Sometimes it can be better, almost all the time it can be better to just send a request directly, since they can actually have someone look at your channel and see what your work is and go from there. Anyway, that's it. I'll catch you guys later. I hope this helps people to feel a little less overwhelmed in terms of starting a channel, especially when you're, you know, kind of on a shoestring budget like mine. Peace.